What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Sir?
The most you ever lost on a coin toss?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Call it.
Call it, yes. For what?
Just call it.
Well, we need to know what we're calling it for here.
You need to call it. I can't call it for you. It wouldn't be fair.
I didn't put nothing up.
Yes, you did. You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it. You know what date is on this coin? 1958. It's been traveling 22 years to get here. And now it's here. And it's either heads or tails. And you have to say, call it.
Look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything.
How's that?
You stand to win everything. Call it.
All right. Heads then.
Well done. Don't put it in your pocket.
Sir?
Don't put it in your pocket. It's your lucky quarter.
Where do you want me to put it?
Anywhere not in your pocket. Or it'll get mixed in with the others and become just a coin. Which it is.
You are tuned in to God's Property Radio. Here are your hosts, Sam and Dan.
Welcome to God's Property Radio. I go by Sam, and Dan is out doing some traveling at the moment, but never fear, for Dan and I received a phone call from Mr. Paul J. Hansen from Santa Rosa County Jail a couple days ago, and I'm going to broadcast that right now, and Dan got to be a part of it, so it was nice to be able to do another coin toss with Dan jointly, since we've been kind of doing our own things. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this short and just get straight to Paul J. Hansen speaking after the verdict.
Here we go.
Now you guys, you were cutting out earlier. Do you know when the retrial is going to be held?
I don't know. Can you tell me more about that?
Oh, okay. Well, they've told me through somebody.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
I don't know if it's been in the newspaper or something like that, but they decided to retry it. So that's all I know. They didn't, and they think they're going to do it, at the end of the last week of June or something like that. I don't know. That's all I know. So I haven't heard anything definite about the date. I just heard that they do intend to retry both Kent and I and try to get us. They can do that 2 more times.
Right. So can you? I haven't talked to you at all since I think I talked to you twice. Months ago, and I broadcast those conversations. Can you tell me about your experiences on the trial? Can you tell me some what happened in from your point of view and everything? Just exactly what's going on with all of the past situation.
Yeah, well, the main thing that I felt that I got shorted on is I wanted to be able to ask questions in court. I only wanted Sixth Amendment counsel. I did not want to have a person that speaks for me and where I cannot speak. And the judge said that, you got to make a choice here. You're either going to have full representation or no representation. And I said, well, I don't understand the processes here. I can't get the paperwork together. And then she told me that, during trial, you will not be allowed to drop your attorney, which is insane. It's just insane. So your attorney can completely blotch everything up, and you're not allowed to drop him and take over the case. But I wanted to ask Scott Snyder in a chair, territorial jurisdiction. I wanted to put in front of the court a personal jurisdiction challenge. They just denied it. Personal jurisdiction challenge is basically, what did I say, do or sign to be subject to this particular court. U.S. courts are limited jurisdiction. They don't have absolute general jurisdiction. So it's an absolute valid challenge, and they would not even hear it.
Wow.
So now my attorney believes that's a due process violation. He believes that we can win the case on that because it's something that's perfectly legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
So and then I wanted to I gave my attorney I don't like calling him attorney because I never asked him to be my attorney. I asked for Sixth Amendment counsel as it was in 1791. And I gave him a list of questions that I wanted him to ask Scott Snyder, and he wouldn't do it because he felt that they were contrary to his office, his official relationship with with his attorney's license.
Wow.
So what he did is he took those. What he did do that was good is he stood up and he told the judge that he's got to list these questions that Mr. Hansen wants me to ask, but I don't feel as an officer of the court that I ought to do that. So he says I'm going to put it in the evidence, and somehow it can be used on appeal or something. So basically, I could on appeal I could say that I didn't have meaningful time and access to the court. I was basically blocked by an officer of the court. My own the person that they forced on me. Not that I didn't. I got great respect for the guy. It's just that you're. Can you imagine getting a really bad guy and you're not allowed to do anything in court? It's horrible. It's absolutely insane. It's not justice at all.
Right.
So anyway, that's what happened in court. That's most disappointing to me. Now, this next time we go into court, since I know 95% probably what they're going to bring against us, they might bring some new stuff against us, but I'll go ahead and only have standby counsel, and I'll be asking all the questions. I'll have Scott Snyder in the witness chair, Ken Hovind in the witness chair for 2-3 days. So we'll play chess with them. We'll checkmate them.
That Great.
Is awesome.
Yeah, I hope to turn this into a landmark case, to where this case can be published, everywhere in the nation, so that people can understand, what are the vital questions, territorial jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction that you can ask. What is the limitation of these courts as far as putting out warrants and subpoenas? How far can they reach out past their own lands? Now, in court, they tried to get both Cantonites to say that we were U.S. citizens. They tried everything they could think of to try to get us
to contract,
and that we were U.S. citizens, that we were residents, that we resided in a city or state or county, and both Kent and I were able to hold our own on that and keep the burden of proof on them. And I addressed the jury in the witness stand. I said, "Jury, did you ever notice that they make this big whoop-de-doo about us claiming that we have no evidence in our possession that we're a U.S. citizen? They make this big whoop-de-doo about it, but not a single one of them has taken a witness chair and testified that we're U.S. citizens. Isn't that amazing, jury? It's amazing that they haven't said that. All they've said in the witness chair is that there's no evidence that Mr. Hovind is a citizen of any other nation." Talk about fishing. Another interesting part of the case is I believe that the attorney for the state just outright lied to the jury in the closing statements. It's horrible that they get the last closing statement. She just told several lies, and it's horrible. She should be. I should be able to take her into a civil court and sue her for her lies. But they actually flew in three notaries from Nebraska. 3 notaries just to testify that I used them to notarize those documents. Now, isn't that insane? I've already got my return address on those envelopes. I've already got my signed signature on multiple documents inside envelope. I've got my fingerprints all over them, and they fly in three witnesses, to testify that I used them as a notary. So a notary got into the witness chair and she says, "Yeah, I'm from Nebraska." And Mr. Hansen came in, and they go, "Did Mr. Hansen come in and sign this document in front of you? Is this your notary stamp?" I go, "Yeah." "Okay, that'll be all." You can fly back to Nebraska. And then my attorney
Wasn't there a forensic somebody about your fingerprints too on envelopes or something that went on?
Yeah. I'll get to that next. Let me finish the. Anyway, so my attorney goes up there and asks him. He goes, "Who flew you down here?" I go, "Well, the United States paid for it all." Okay. and he just gave this blank stare in the air, and he was communicating to the jury like, "Your tax dollars at work here. This is ridiculous." And then back to the fingerprints. Yeah, they actually got my fingerprints on a piece of paper that had my signature on it and my return address on it, and all kinds of documents in it that I was trying to send to people for notices. Isn't that terrible? And so it's just ridiculous. My handwriting's all over it. And they were so desperate for evidence that the prosecuting attorney would stand up and say, "Jury, guess what? We got his fingerprints. We got his fingerprints on this paper." And so I'm in the witness chair, and she stands up there, and she says, "Your fingerprints are on this document, aren't they?" "Well, let me see the document." "No, we're not allowed you to touch it." "Well, just let me hold the plastic part." "Well, yeah, my fingerprints would be on that, because can't you see my return address is up in the corner? My handwriting, this is the people I wanted to mail it to. It's full of papers that has my notarized signature in it." "Yes."
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
"That's my signature." But she tried to make it look like, she tried to paint a picture that I was trying to hide that from the jury. And they were just so desperate for any shred of evidence.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I mean, they actually flew those witnesses. They flew 28 witnesses in. 28 of them. And 25 or 28. And they didn't have nothing to testify to. It was just all fluff. Is this Mr. Hansen's fingerprints? Yeah. So they flew you down from Chicago for this? Yeah. Notary, did he sign this? Yeah. Court clerk, did he mail this to you? Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was such a, if they don't have anything substantive, all they can resort to is all this mediocre stuff to try to convince the jury that they've got a substantial amount of evidence. And it's just fluff. It's just fluff. It didn't amount to nothing. If a juror was on the witness stand, and understood substance, weightiness of evidence, they would have said, "Oh my gosh, this is a joke. They're spending close to $500,000 on this case, and this is what they got." Pathetic.
Man.
You should have gotten up on the stand, Paul, and said, "Hey, you didn't have to file these people down here. I could have told you my fingerprints were on it, and, I signed it."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did that. And my attorney even said that, they made it clear to them that it was just fluff, that they don't have nothing, so they got to drag in all these feathers, don't amount to nothing. But nobody's won a case in that courthouse for like 9 years.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
You can call us back when this ends. That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to talk more about the charges, if that's cool, when you call me back here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just call you back right now.
Great.
No, you don't get cut off in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm here. You asked me to talk about the charges a little bit, is that correct?
Yes. That would be great.
The charges, the charge that I've been found not guilty on is the association with Kent in relationship to the Les Pendum. So the jury did find me not guilty on that, which means they unanimously made the determination that I that they, that I'm not guilty of that. Therefore, they can't recharge me on that one. So then the other charge, the other two charges that they did find me guilty on was just contempt of court. Now, one of the contempt of courts is they believe that I should have showed up in Pensacola to get my fingerprints, even though my challenge was that they never gave me any compelling law to do so when I asked them in emails and so forth. And then the other contempt of court is the court sent declaration out, injunction out, not to do anything to cloud the title. Now, nobody testified. Only one person. I was found guilty on that. That's contempt of court too. Nobody showed any evidence of any of my filings clouded any title for any time at all. All one attorney did is he testified. Real estate attorney testified that he sounded like he was coached. They asked him, did Mr. Hansen's document cloud the title? He goes, yes. And then my attorney got up there and he said, well, that's kind of funny. You're saying that he clouded the title, but we got all these emails where you don't even mention one word about Mr. Hansen's documents being a hindrance to you. Not one single word. So the only evidence they have is an attorney saying it clouded the title, but at the same time, the same attorney had all these emails to all these people that were involved in the IRS and so forth to sell the properties back to us, and not one single word in there was about the difficulty he's having with Mr. Hansen's mailing to him. So I believe he was just coached to say that. He seemed.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
He seemed to be coached when he was up there, almost like he was told exactly what to say. So the other charges are they're still going to try to prosecute us for defrauding the government. They're trying to say that our documents we had intent to defraud them, which is ridiculous. There wasn't no issue of defraud. All we were doing is making a declaration that we had a legal interest in the property for a specific amount of money, and that we were eventually going to have it in our day in court. And then the other charge that's left that they're going to try to retry us on is conspiring to defraud. So conspiring to defraud is just the duplication of the issue of defraud. It's just that it's not a singular act. They're trying to claim that Kent and I worked together to do that. And Kent has a lot of difficulty, a lot more difficulty than I do, because they got 30,000 emails and some conversations on the phone that they can grab a sentence here, a word here. And they pull things out of context. Now with me, they don't have all that. So what they do is they had 10 lawyers, it looked like, in the courtroom that probably scoured those papers for every single word that they could pull out of context to paint this picture in front of the jury, which is horrible, because we don't have those resources, especially when they lock us up in jail. We don't even have access to those things so that we can build a good counter to it. So that would be in both of the defrauding and the conspiring is associated with mail fraud. So that would be the charges they're coming after us to get on.
Any like super bogus moves that were pulled by anybody, like just kind of shiesty? Like, as far as I know, Casey Rogers, had a lot of time to talk before the decision was made and everything. Anything that you saw from your perspective, aside from what you've already told us, any moves that were kind of like, this is totally not balanced?
The biggest disadvantage is Casey Rogers, the judge, said that I could not participate in my hearing. I couldn't participate. I had to just sit there like a wallflower and let this appointed counsel do everything. It was the biggest problem. I had all kinds of questions that I wanted to ask every single witness up there, and the attorney goes, I told the attorney, but he just didn't do it. I believe that every attorney that has a bar license, even if they don't even want to admit it, and one reason they're not trained about this territorial jurisdiction thing, they if it's bogus, then it would be easy for them to refute. But they don't want to admit that they have to prove that our activity took place in a federal zone for the federal court to have jurisdiction. They have to prove that, and that's the basis of my questions that I wanted to, for example, Scott Snyder, or do you have any evidence that I mailed a letter into a federal zone? Do you have any evidence that I mailed a letter into a federal office? So why are we in a federal court? So that's the biggest problem. And then also, Kent had a lot more to say, and he wasn't. His attorney never allowed him to continue in the witness stand. He had another 2 hours of information to put before the jury. Now, the opposing party had 3 days to put a case against Kent, and Kent should have had 3 days if he wanted to settle that. And he wasn't allowed that. He was only allowed about 1 day.
What was it like watching Kent defend himself or explain himself? How was he? Because, I mean, obviously we all know what a great, teacher and debater he is. How did that go over?
For a novice, he did excellent. Excellent. For a novice, I mean, he did better than I could have, I think. I think his genuineness came across to the jury, and we wanted to communicate that we're not the ones on trial here. Scott Schneider is mostly, and the prosecutor. They're the ones that are really on trial here. They're the ones that. It's a little bit like you walk up on a hill and you see a guy getting crucified, and the first thing you do is you go, well, what did he do wrong? And we wanted to turn this around, and we wanted to show Kent getting crucified in the last 15 years, and we wanted to show that Kent didn't do anything wrong. He strive for righteousness. It's the people that are doing it against him. They're the ones that are wrong. That's what we wanted to bring out in the trial, and we weren't allowed to do that because the attorneys are trained to respect the court in every way, and even if the client suffers. I mean, they might not even do it intentionally. It's just the way they do it. It's just wrong.
I was going to let you know that we started a campaign for Kent and you, but we've raised a pretty good amount of money. I mean, in a very small amount of time. Just at the website that we've been generating stuff at, we've been selling T-shirts all over the world, and also a compilation album that a bunch of musicians, a bunch of Christian artists got together and got about 25 songs for a digital download that people are buying. So if you guys need anything, we've got that, and we can get it to Ernie. So you just correspond with Ernie, and we'll put some money toward whatever.
Yeah. Just work with Ernie. Ernie knows that I certainly don't have much money, so he can kind of work with you on that. Just have to prayerfully do it. I'm not about to ask for money. I'll live under a bridge before I ask people for money. But if there's money out there and the Lord's leading them to bring it our way, and none of it's going to be wasted. That's for sure. I'm not going to be wasting it on soda pop or anything like that. It's going to go all to a purpose of not only winning this case for Kent, but after we win it, we need to publish this thing worldwide. We need to write books about it. We need to make movies about it. The entire, especially America, especially the churches in America, they should be able to sit down and watch a movie about Kent's life and how the beast has attacked him.
I totally agree. I think that this is going to be to come, whatever comes about with this. I think this is like a groundbreaking case. I really do. And Dan and I talked to you almost a year ago. It's been now since we talked to you for the first time, and it's man, it's been crazy. But we feel like the Lord really led Dan and I into this whole thing, and to help shed light on it. And the Lord's really working. I mean, on our podcast, just for instance, we became a part of a network, months after talking to you, and our downloads, between every episode that we have up, think total we're almost to 38,000 downloads in 1 year. I mean,
Cool.
those are long episodes. I mean, people want to hear the truth, you know. So
His episode was the most downloaded
Yeah.
for a while.
So a download means that they're not just clicking on it and going somewhere else. They're actually sitting and watching the whole movie, huh?
yeah, I mean, well, they're not movies; they're MP3s. So they download them and they put them on their iPod and they listen to them on long drives or whenever they have time. So I mean, while we still have a free internet, it's time to take.
They're sending them. They're sending them to their friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think once they study who I am, and they they're listening to our phone call right here, and when they find out that I'm going to have every witness in the witness stand for a day, if I can, I'm going to drill them on every jurisdictional aspect. I'm going to expose. I'm going to require that they produce evidence of authority to move against us on the warrant, on the subpoena, on the charges, on the 2006 case. You know, what did Scott Schneider rely upon? It can't had a duty to withhold workers' money and turn it over to the IRS. I mean, I'm gonna let them know that this is not going away. They cannot destroy people's lives without remedy on our side. We have remedy on our side. As long as there's American people, we have remedy on our side. The United States is not our government. It's a government for a military purpose. We still maintain common law. We still have remedy for the abuse of any agent of the United States against us.
Yeah, and you know, Paul, I was thinking, I've heard this from different people, but you know, back when our founding fathers came here and people came from Europe and everything overseas here, you know, from what I've heard is that people knew law and they knew the Bible. Like those were the two things. Like people were much more educated on how to handle themselves on law than our average, like even myself and Dan, we don't have a clue about that. We're not taught about that in school,
Yeah. My opening statement is going to be, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven." I'm going to tell the jury that this is the number one theme I want you to focus on. Number one, don't pay attention to me. Don't pay attention to Kent. Don't pay attention to any attorney in here. Don't pay attention to the judge. Don't pay attention to the congressional written law. Pay attention to God. What does He want in this courtroom? And all we have to do is win one person.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
All we have to do is have one person listen to God, and we can get an acquittal. So, and I think we can do that. We're in the Bible Belt here. We get people. We get people that are sensitive to God on the witness stand. And I think with me being my not having an attorney this time, I think they're not going to have the trial. I think they're going to hear about this and they're going to say, "No way. There's too much potential for him to open a can of worms and cause tremendous amount of repercussions for. He's going to set us back 200 years on some of this stuff. We don't want to do that." You want me to call back?
If you will.
Sure, go for it.
Sure. Okay, I'll call you back. Are you there?
We're here.
Let me throw out real quick what was on my mind.
Okay.
Everything Kent did, everything I did, was perfectly legal. The attorneys got up and they said, what they did might not be conventional, might be disruptive, might be delaying, but it's all perfectly legal. All perfectly legal. Possibly a jury could say that, that was kind of harassment, paper terrorist or whatever. And maybe the jury would decide, $1,000, pay the United States $1,000 because, it just caused quite a bit of trouble for them. But it's not illegal. It's not a crime. It's not a crime. And this is something we emphasize to the jury. It's not a crime to file a les pendum. It's not a crime to give notice of interest in a property. So they don't have anything left that could qualify as a crime.
Right. So, do you have any idea then when the next trial is scheduled to be? We know sentencing is in June, but do you know the date for the retrial yet?
No, June 12th is sentencing. I've heard that they're going to try to schedule it for the end of June. So that's all I've heard. And the reason they were going to wait that long is because they had other the trials going on. It's weird. There's only 12. They only have like 12 trials in that federal courthouse a year. Isn't that amazing?
And yet
they haven't. Nobody's won a case against the government. We talked to one of the employees. He said he's been there 6 or 9 years. He said he's never seen anybody win a case. It's like crazy.
Yeah. Well, and if they only have that many, like 12 trials a year, so we'll say an average, one a month, why did it take so long to get you guys to trial in the first place then?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we did this stuff 6 years ago. It's crazy.
Now, I did want to ask you, were you made aware that you were probably present when the prosecutor, Tiffany Hope Eggers, got up and said there are people outside, talking about jury nullification, and she wanted the judge to arrest them. Were you there for the judge's response when that happened?
I don't think she ever told him to arrest them. She just told them to just give him attention to it. I don't think. And then the judge's response was, well, as long as they don't do anything illegal, they have their First Amendment right to free speech. So it wasn't a big deal. But as far as Kent and I being in our counsel, we were informed not to. We could not bring up jury nullification. But it said I think the document says we're not allowed to say that the law did not have force and effect. And that's not jury nullification. The jury nullification is that the jury can decide if the law has force and effect. We're not saying the law doesn't have force and effect. It does, but the jury has absolute say so. They're the king there. And this is the United States court. It's not a common law jury. They're instructed what to do, and it's a horrible setting. It's absolutely a horrible setting. But if you're a knowledgeable juror, all you have to do is cross your arms, look to God, say, God, what should I do?
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
They should look to God and say what to do, and give no priority to anybody else. That's what we need. That's what all jurors should do all over the world.
Right. Now, a question for you: with the retrial coming up, with you representing yourself, will you be able to what is it called? To assert allowances or obstructions in linum?
Rephrase your question. I don't understand it.
Well, in linum, in this last one, the defense brought what they wanted to be able to talk about, and will you be able to do that too?
Yeah. There's things that should certainly be left out on both parties. It's not pertinent. There's no reason to come in and start slinging mud about things that aren't pertinent. So there's elements of that. That's to our advantage too, because for example, they bring up Kent's judgment against him for first they bring it up for $430,000, then they bring up the next one for $600,000, then they bring up the next one for $40,000, and then they bring up the next one for $4 million. See, when I'm going to be asking questions, I'm going to be able to get Kent to explain how he was railroaded on each and every one of those. How he didn't even have his day in court.
Right.
And that they don't represent anything of truth. And how I hope Kent can communicate how he got railroaded. Well, how was his first attorney railroaded him?
Well, that was just
ridiculous. I don't know if his first attorney. I don't know if his first attorney intentionally railroaded him, or it just ended up turning into that. But in my perspective, he railroaded him because I told that attorney how to win Kent's case. I told him how to put Scott Snyder in the witness stand and ask a couple basic questions of jurisdiction. And one of them is just simply, what did you rely upon that Kent Hovind had a legal duty to withhold any funds from the workers at Creation Science Evangelism and turn those funds over to the United States? Question. That's all it is. That's all he had to do is ask. I believe he would have won his case.
Yeah.
But the attorney didn't do that. I mean, how hard a question is that to ask?
Apparently it's unsurmountably difficult.
And why would you fear asking that question? All you have to do is say, well, my attorney, my client really wants this question asked. I don't really agree with it. I don't understand it, but here it goes. I'll ask it for my client.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Does it, going back to Lynham, does this now work in your favor? I mean, now that you're representing yourself, you've seen their playbook pretty much. I mean, you said you know 95% of what they're going to bring this time. So going through Lynham and preparing for it, that works to your advantage, yes?
Yeah. Yep. I don't think they're going to have any new evidence against me that's going to amount to anything. Even if they do, it's still just going to be the same stuff they have now. And I mean, I didn't do anything illegal.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. I didn't do anything illegal.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly.
The attorneys admitted to that.
Yeah, I do hope that Sam or I can get away for a few days and come down for the trial, but it certainly won't be able to be both of us just because of our job, and we both work here and we both can't be absent at the same time. But I don't know, maybe we'll take turns.
Yeah. Maybe.
You know, so, but you know, we'll let the Lord provide there for that. But is there anything that you want to get off your chest, maybe share with our listeners, get a message out there, anything that's just kind of been eating at your mind?
The biggest thing is that we want to do a good job here so that we can make a big step in the right direction for our country. This is essential that people knows that people can actually know that the simplicity of standing against the United States. It's one or two questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's how simple it is to stand against the United States. One or two questions, and they're just be willing to tell your attorney to take a hike and ask those one or two questions.
Yep.
And we've come across other. You've heard of Carl Lentz, possibly?
I have not. I don't think so.
Carl Lentz.
Oh.
Okay, Carl Lentz is. As far as I know, Carl Lentz has never lost a case. Okay, and then I also have this other guy that's going to come in as an expert witness on territorial jurisdiction. He's worked for the government for 30 years. So,
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
It's going to be fantastic. But Carl Lentz is supposed to fly down to Florida here, get on this case, and he's basically going to bring in the common law remedy and force it into possibly a state court. And you can get, we can subpoena Scott Snyder into a state court and ask that same question that was neglected in 2006.
Okay, so you said
go for damages.
You said that Carl Lentz is his name?
Lentz.
Lentz.
You just Google Carl Lentz, Lentz, court of record, and it'll pop up all over the internet. Court of record.
Okay, do you know how we might be able to get in touch with him? Because I mean, we'd love to have him on here.
Call Ernie.
Call Ernie. Okay.
Yeah, he's going to meet with Ernie in Florida here.
Awesome.
So that's really cool. I mean, this guy's never lost a case that I know of. Just gets right down to the bare roots of the issue and nips it in the bud. He's taken on cases that have been in court for 7 to 9 years. 2 cases that I know, 7 to 9 years. One was 7, the other one was 9. He won the case in 3 days on each case.
Wow.
With just 1 or 2 pieces of paper. 1 or 2 pieces of paper.
Nice.
Beat the government.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, that's very encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
I would.
Yep.
I would like to ask: do you know of any other people that we could talk to about 501c3 and their experiences with that?
I can't remember the guy's name, but there's an expert. There's an expert on the internet that travels around the country, and he sells books on 501c3. Guess I can't remember his name, but you Google 501c3. His name should pop up. He charges like $120 an hour to talk to him, which I'm not too impressed with. No reason to talk to him, just play his material, it's just fine. But I'm probably one of the better people in the 501c3 area. So
yeah.
Not that I would instruct you how to operate it.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Yeah,
I would show you how to maintain your independence from the 501c3.
Sure. Well, Paul, I think we got a pretty good, we got 3 15-minute sessions here, and we'll broadcast that later for you. And
okay.
Thanks for calling, and I'm gonna correspond with Ernie, and we'll be in talk. We'll talk to you again, I'm sure, within the next few weeks. I'll let Ernie know when.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll let you go then.
All right, Paul. God bless you.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, welcome back, and it was awesome to hear from Paul J. Hansen. I think he's got a lot of plans, and I hope, and I pray that those come to fruition. He seems to have a grasp on the court situation that not many people have these days, and I'm truly intrigued by a lot of the things that we've discussed with him in the past, and I have a lot of faith that Paul will prevail in a court of law. But yeah, that's just my opinion. In other news, Ark from Destiny Lab and Digging for the Truth with Ark and Neo will be joining me on several upcoming podcasts and programs outside of this one to talk about the Kent situation and Ho Vindication, the campaign, and the success that we're having right now. We want to just, again, thank everybody who's ordered a t-shirt to support Dr. Kent Hovind. And if you've bought a t-shirt, can you please take a picture of yourself wearing the t-shirt, because I'm putting together a collage that I plan on mailing to Kent Hovind with everybody's t-shirts. So if you'd like to be part of that, and I would love for you guys all to be a part of that, then send me a picture, email it to godspropertyradio@gmail.com or email it to godspropertymedia@gmail.com, whichever one, and I will throw that together for Kent. Other than that, we don't have anything on the books right now, but we have some ideas. So we'll see what kind of coin toss comes next. And as far as, again, on the t-shirt front, the XLs and double XLs are reordered and will be here, I believe, by the 8th at the latest. I think they could get here earlier, but I'm not quite certain what day they'll be here. So that will be here soon, and anybody who wants XLs and double XLs, as well as all the other sizes, we have plenty of smalls, mediums, and larges as well. So feel free to spread the word, freekent.com. It's your one-stop place, and until next time, don't buy into what the world is selling.
Yeah. Change the change the tape. Change the change the change the tape. Change the tape. From the apostles, the gospel according to Spartacus. I'm sharpening bars for the wars that are starting up. Lyrical sword, spirit of the Lord's marvelous. Lost and found, across and crown, we're all part of it. I was taken prisoner, home pillaged by brigands who burned and murdered the villager living there. There was no deliverance, just constant killings, ribbons and scissors given to the Roman visitor. Imagine a man ravenous as an alligator, mangling faces with the sabers of a gladiator. Carry no favors with the slaves of the magistrate. I came here to aggravate and animate the laborers. House of Batty artists in the Colosseum. Battle stars, rappers' hearts are swallowed by demons. It's common to hear men screaming in dreams, and I've got battle scars smashing bars into hollow heathens. Controlled by the Roman, exceptionally ruthless. It's time to execute the revolution, but it's useless. The truth is my wife's held hostage to the stooges, and the music won't stop till Lucy's got his proper duties. So I played the part and waited for payment, hoping and praying that she's okay in his basement. Raging against the machine is making me wait, but the day never came because I've been betrayed by Satan. overwhelmed by guiltiness and shame, anger, frustration, filthiness, pain. I could milk it again for ages or change tactics and ask the one who built my brain to take the fastest action. From the apostles, the gospel, according to Spartacus, the war in my heart's appalling and it's harming us. Lyrical sword, spirit of the Lord's marvelous, lost and found, the cross and crown, we're all part of it. Rise of the righteous slaughter, mind altering, caught in the eye of the tiger, but Christ fought for him, overthrowing the house and trained the force within toward darkness. Carcasses fall from the sword, orbiting the legend of Spartacus the warrior, trapped by batty artists after getting snatched up by the hollow one. The heavens parted to acknowledge you. I'm honored to be a follower of a marvelous phenomena. I'm inviting the God of truth to enter. We're all just like the one who had that dark adventure. It all happened in the heart, battles in the center. It was hard to keep grappling with the tempter, but eventually when I gave it to him who renders skin from tendons and ink from the pen of him who remembers. Beware of the hijackers, track the mind maps. I got my life back as my wise hat to Christ's right hand. From the apostles, the gospel, according to Spartacus, redeemed by God and seen by all who's in charge of this. Lyrical sword, spirit of the Lord's marvelous, lost and found, the cross and crown, we're all part of it. The apostles, the gospel, according to Spartacus, redeemed by God and seen by all who's in charge of this. Lyrical sword, spirit of the Lord's marvelous, lost and found, the cross and crown, we're all part of it.